I want to go to Camilia Bernal, who is live for us on the ground. She remains there in Minneapolis. I assume, just looking at your live shot here, Camilia, that you are at one of those demonstrations now after the killing of Alex Pretti here. We will show some of that video there. And as more images have come out, questions have come up about why what Trump administration officials are saying appears to be contradicted by the images that people are seeing.
Yeah, Hallie. So we're actually right in the area where he was shot. So there is a makeshift memorial, and you're seeing people coming in to pay their respects. People say they're coming to pay their respects not only for Alex Pretti, but also for Renee Good. And so the entire morning, it's been pretty somber because since this area is more of a memorial, people, as you see, are bringing flowers. They have candles and signs and are gathering. So as you get closer to that memorial site, it gets a little bit quieter because people are just reflecting and going over everything that happened. But I have gotten the chance to speak to some of the people who have been here and who wanted to come to this area. And what they're telling me is, yes, they have watched this video over and over again. And someone specifically told me, I am heartbroken because they don't see what the Department of Homeland Security sees. They see a man with a phone in his hand. And that's exactly what a lot of the people here feel and see, and it's why they're braving these freezing temperatures, saying this has to stop. I spoke to residents who live here in Minneapolis who say they want to see ICE agents out of their city. They want to see federal agents leave the city because they feel that it is not keeping them safe, and they are more scared of federal agents than they are of what's happening in general in Minneapolis. And so a lot of the peaceful observers have also said, look, that could have been me, because everywhere you go in the city, people are now taking out their phones and doing whatever they can to record what's happening all around them. And so they are worried that this too could happen to them, Hallie.
Pretti had a gun. Pretti was legally allowed to have that gun based on what local officials have said. It appears from the video, Camilia, from the angles that we have seen so far, that that gun was in his waistband and was taken out by what appeared to be an ICE officer on the ground there. That's what some of the video shows here. We have heard the Trump administration suggest that Pretti interfered or impeded with the operation that ICE officers were carrying out. And it is that I suspect that when we hear from Governor Walz today, he will talk about that apparent disconnect.
Yeah, and what DHS says is that he refused these attempts to disarm him. And yesterday, when we were with the commander of the Border Patrol here in Minneapolis, I specifically asked, you know, show me in the video when this man, or if this man, brandished his weapon, because I'm not seeing it. And he did not answer that question. He wasn't able to point to the moment where they specifically say they felt threatened. And so that remains a big question for Border Patrol, for federal agents, for the Department of Homeland Security. And that's the question that you keep hearing from a lot of these protesters. And they want to know why the government is saying this, because it's not what they see on the video. I do want to point out, though, we were here yesterday after the shooting, and of course federal agents were blocking this area where we are now. And as federal agents were here, that's when things got extremely tense and extremely chaotic, because a lot of the protesters wanted that confrontation with the federal agents and wanted those answers and would scream things like shame to their faces. Then when they left the scene, you continued to see protests, but a lot of them were a lot more peaceful and very calm. The mayor of Minneapolis said that overnight, thousands of people came out and said that not a single person was arrested, that there were no burglaries, no fires. So we have seen things very calm as long as federal agents are not here. And so that's what we're seeing today. We'll see how much bigger this gets as time goes on. You see more and more people coming. There's another protest scheduled downtown later today. So we'll have to see how things develop throughout the day. But it's obviously very emotional here in Minneapolis, Hallie.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.